So we're going to move into this next part of the presentation, and it's going to be a panel discussion with the grant recipients from SEL4NJ's first ever SEL grant scholarship program. This was something, I should introduce myself first. I am Liz Warner, and I'm the president of SEL4NJ, one of the founding members of SEL4NJ and its predecessor organization way back in 2011. Just a little bit of background for those of you who don't know about SEL4NJ. We're a statewide alliance, a coalition. We're part of a state affiliate of SEL4US. SEL4NJ has over 2,600 members and is made up of educators, associations and organizations, state departments active in the education field, as well as SEL providers broadly defined. So it's a true coalition, and we are just all about high quality SEL, very broadly defined implementation and support and raising awareness of the importance of SEL to everyone. And most importantly, in this context, to schools, staff, as well as students and parents. So, so last year, we were very fortunate that the New York Jets provided us with a grant. It was a one-off grant, but we are ever so grateful to them for making this possible. And we opened up a grant scholarship program for schools to put together a project. And the idea is that it wasn't a lot of money. It was between $1,500 and $2,000. I think the average was around $1,500. And to implement SEL in a way that could be sustainable in their school buildings, and just to see what they could do. During the course of last spring, we met 3 or 4 times as a cohort to talk about how things were going, to get to know one another a little bit, to brainstorm, to share successes and opportunities. And it was great energy. And I have to say, on behalf of SEL4NJ, we were just so incredibly impressed with not only the projects, they were like amazing, but also how different they were, but also just how engaged, passionate, and committed each one of our grantee recipients were. And they just each brought themselves and the most wonderful energy to the mix. And so we very much hope to be able to offer the scholarship program again at some point. And we are just thrilled to invite them here to talk about what they did and how they did it and the impact that it's made. So we have some people who have just been kind of knocking on the door and being let in from the panel discussion. So what I'm going to do is go to the next slide. And here is the list of the 15 projects that we funded. And as you can see, they're very, very different from one another, which we were thrilled to see, because we all know that there's many, many ways of creating a positive, safe, respectful school environment. So everything from focuses on recess to yoga and SEL. We're going to be hearing more about a clinical military counseling certificate program. There were some courses people went on that really made a difference. There was the SEL courses via the SECD lab, some CASEL programs or workshops. So a whole variety of different projects, different approaches. Each one of the schools who put this together, had just, they were so thoughtful about why this was going to make a difference in their school and why it was going to have some lasting impact. So we were thrilled with these projects, and we were thrilled to get to know everyone who was delivering these. So today we have 7 of them here to share kind of how things are going now a year in. So we're going to be inviting each person to kind of provide a little bit of an overview of what their project was, kind of the impact it had, and sort of like how is it going. And we know that each one of these people and could probably talk all day about their project, which is, and we would be avid listeners, but we don't have that much time. So we're going to encourage everyone to spend about, like 2 to 3 minutes or so just providing an overview. And then there'll be an opportunity to come back and ask some follow-up questions, as well as, we hope for the audience as well in the chat. If you have questions, please put them in, because that would be a great idea for us to come back to your own questions. So with that said, and also as you open it up, I'll ask you each, I'll kind of hand over the baton to each of you, but if you could just share if your school's an example, if your school's doing anything exciting today for SEL Day, because it's kind of fun to have everyone here together. So I think I will start with Richard back from Colts Neck Elementary.
Okay, hi, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Richard Beck. I'm the Director of Special Services from the Colts Neck School District in Monmouth County. I guess we'll start with the SEL Day initiatives. Liz, is that the first thing to start with? Yeah? Okay. All right, so in our district, for starters, we hired a full-time SEL counselor for the district this year. We did district-wide SEL screenings, and based upon the results of the screenings, identified children who would be in need of additional support. And we run SEL groups in all of our schools from grades 3 through 8. And we are reassessing them towards the close of the year to chart improvement. We also have push-in SEL services into all of our classrooms, grades K1 and 2. So we're pretty invested in that initiative. We have a mindfulness coach in the district as well, and we do mindfulness sessions pretty much school-wide. So there's a lot of initiatives that we have going on, and we've committed a good amount of resources to it. So with all of that, when we were welcomed to be a part of the grant project last year, we already had these broad-based district initiatives, and we wanted to do something very targeted for an area of need that kind of exceeded the initiatives that we had. So in the town of Colts Neck, we have Earl Naval Base. Naval Weapon Stations Earl is the official name of it. And we, a few years ago, began servicing all the students of the officers that lived on the base. Now, this population is transient in regards to they're often shifting from base to base on an average of every 2.5 years. So the children that come to us are coming from all over the country, actually sometimes all over the world. And they have a very different kind of backgrounds, both academically, because they're going from system to system, and so their foundational skills academically are different, and emotionally they are used to kind of having relationships and then being picked up and moved to a new place. So there's a number of challenges that they face. And then there's also circumstances that the parents face as well. So to address those needs, what we did with our grant was we had all of our counselors and myself trained to be clinical military counselors. So we went through, with the grant's help, we went through trainings to get training specifically in how to work with military families and military students. And interestingly, what happened when we started this initiative, the educational liaison from the Navy base found out about it and put in a request to actually have formal counselors provided by the military into our schools themselves to do what we were training our staff to do. They tried that, but when they came in, because of the rules of the military program itself, they were not able to share any information that children shared with the school because there were confidentiality rules, and they couldn't work with any students independently. They had to be in the presence of other staff members. So the military tried to offer these supports, and it really didn't work out. So they were here for a few months, and it wasn't a good fit. But the training our counselors received was very helpful. And this is going to be something going forward that is going to help us work with these students and these families. I can say personally from being a part of it, there's so much that I never even thought about that now I go into meetings with adults and of course with children that I am so much more sensitive to and trained in how to respond to. But I have one of our counselors on the call right now. Ann Rasso is on, she's one of our school counselors from our elementary school. Ann, can you share any of your kind of experiences working with the children and their families after receiving this knowledge that we've gotten?
Sure, Rich. First of all, I just want to say thank you to everyone through SEL4NJ Jersey. It was a wonderful opportunity for us here at Colts Neck to have this chance to become certified military counselors. And I agree with Rich. It's opens up your eyes to so many things, and it actually helps me in my day-to-day practice here at the elementary school working with the children. I do want to add that we did have the opportunity, since we were able to become certified military counselors, and we did work closely with the liaison at Earl Naval Base, that we as school counselors, as well as Rich, had an opportunity to go to the base and actually see what it's like to be on the base. And I'm not sure if many of you are familiar, but it's really, no one gets to go to the base. So we actually had that opportunity, which was amazing. And that truly made a difference for me, being able to see where the children that I service at our elementary school live. So many of the kids talk about things that are happening at base, and we're able to see their child care center. We're able to meet the people that work on homework with them. It was such a wonderful opportunity, and I'm so grateful for that. And I think it's all related back to where we started here with the SEL grant. So I do want to thank you for that. And it's invaluable information that we received in the training that we went through, that is, we're able to turnkey it and to our other staff members at work, and making sure everyone is sensitive to the needs of all of our military students. And it's a super wonderful population that we have here, and we're actually excited about continuing. And we also celebrate Purple Up Day that's coming up soon, to recognize our military students. So it really has given us that opportunity to include everyone and to be able to help our children that are transient and coming from different parts of the world. So thank you so much. I do appreciate it.
Oh, that's great. Thank you so much, Anne, for sharing. It really is so impressive. Just a little bit of money and some really focused attention, how much it can just open up awareness. And kind of just, Richard, I was just so struck with what you said about how, you just enter meetings now with another lens that you may not have had, you probably had it before, but now it's an even broader lens. And that's just great. And I'm sure those kids and those families are benefiting tremendously from all of you down there in Colts Neck.
Thanks, Liz. And honestly, without that money, we probably wouldn't have had this opportunity. So we do thank you very much. Right. It really made it.
Well, our pleasure, for sure. Okay, well, thank you so much. And we'll have a chance hopefully to come back and ask some follow-up questions, but we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to have their first kind of sharing. So I think Meredith, you're on the call, right? Meredith?
Yes, I am.
Hi.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Meredith Gray, and I am a second grade teacher at Franklin in Newark, New Jersey. And I'm excited to have this opportunity to share a little bit about what we were able to accomplish with the grant money and our project. So at Franklin, we really wanted to focus in and bring in more parents within our school and getting more parent engagement, and as well as having them kind of take a lead in some of the SEL programming and hearing what they would like. So we did a lot of work of bringing in and creating a parent teacher organization. So last year we made one because we didn't really have an active one. So we created that, had them come in with different ideas of what they wanted and what they needed. And then we have been very fortunate that we have Kalina Berryman, who is great, who will work with our teachers to provide, or not teachers, sorry, our families to provide some trainings for them for SEL and ways to communicate that at home. And we also hosted a few by teachers. So we have an SEL team. So our SEL team hosted a few parent engagement sessions for our PTO, as well as others who were not necessarily a part of our PTO, to kind of engage them and give them some strategies at home to use. And that's really it. So we are hoping for the future to continue this work, as well as really having that communication back and forth with our families and making them a large part of the discussion and giving them those tools that we use at school to have them use at home. So it is connected always to help us.
Wow, it's so, I just love the, what really struck me about this project is that you included the parents, you asked them what they wanted and what they needed, and then just strengthening that bond so that we know how important the parent community is. And if the school and the parents can be on the same page, wow. And this sort of structure is just trying to achieve that. And just by inviting them into the planning is just so huge. We hear a lot about student voice. We hear less about staff voice, but that is just as important as student voice. And of course, parent voice. Oh my goodness, critical component. So this is really meshing the three beautifully. So well done. Thank you, Meredith. Okay, so why don't we have a quick overview now from Alicia? I think you're on, from John Greco.
Hi, my name is Alicia Case. How are you doing? I am in Englewood, New Jersey. And I have to start by saying that, and I don't know if this is going to come across right, but this was truly the pebble that has caused the ripple for this year for us, in a really, really, really big way.
Oh, that was my question.
Yeah. So our grant was around providing a parent and child workshop on emotion control, providing children and parents the vocabulary to be able to have conversations. We provided them with parent resources, sensory takeaways. It was all based around the book, The Color Monster, which focuses on emotions. So the money supplied food for the parents to come after work because we're a Title I district. It provided those resources for the parents and the children to move around to each takeaway activity. Some of them were doing inspiration sticks or making a sensory fidget or strategy coping wheels, having a conversation with watercolor painting and what colors expressed how their day went to open up that dialogue. So that's where it started. So I was fortunate enough to be able to get in on the committee for federal funding for ESEA, which is Elementary, Secondary, and Education Act, which is the federal funding. And I really pushed to get a good chunk of money for SEL for our school. Well, we got it. So there is so much going on in our school as a result of this. So one thing is we are in the process of each classroom getting mental health kits. So there's a first grade bucket and a second grade bucket. There's literature, English, and Spanish because we're a bilingual school. So like, for example, first grade will get like these little faces where they can like focus on like their emotions and then, start having communication. We have sensory materials. We have like social and emotional, like where they have to match up the emotion and then they have to read it. And like we start having a dialogue. They'll get poppets and really fidgety things. We're actually April 22nd, we're rehosting another parent workshop. And we've expanded upon it a little bit. With the basis of with the money that was funded. So that's April 22nd. We have a teacher's social emotional lounge where teachers can go in, take a break, get a cup of tea or cup of coffee. In our building, we have a little area where you could walk outside. And so we've made it an outdoor area. So we're really waiting for the spring to come in where the kids can plant and they can paint what they see. And it just goes on and on. I mean, it's really crazy. We got some really great books for the kids, like I Am a Peace book. I had a yoga instructor come in and teach the kids yoga last week, school wide, and teaching them that, like, if you're in the classroom and you just kind of need a minute, this is something you could do like right outside the door, even at your table. Each classroom is going to get the mental health kits. So and I could just keep going on. There's just so much more. But like I said, it really just snowballed. And I'm really the advocate, and we're fortunate because we have school counselors and they do monthly lessons with the children, class by class. So it's kind of been really great to have everybody jump on board and kind of see the need for it.
Oh, that's wonderful, Alicia. And like you said, I remember, when we were meeting last year, you were talking about just getting the visibility of these efforts. And it sounds as if that's what happened. And what a lot of things you've got going on. That's fabulous. And again, that parent piece is so key.
I mean, it was hundreds of thousands of dollars that we were able to allocate just for SEL.
Wow.
Just for our school. So I was appreciative that, we were so transparent, with my principal and through this program to really let her see that, coming out of COVID, like this was a necessity, especially in a low income district like Englewood.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Fabulous. That's great. Okay, so I think Doug, maybe we'll go to you. I know Marissa's going to be joining us in a little bit, so maybe you'd like to share. And Doug has two different things to share. So Doug, I'll leave it to you what you share first, and then we can come back to the other.
Oh, okay.
Or
First,
whatever. Why don't you just share however you actually do
first,
it.
yeah, it's great to be here with everybody today, and thanks so much for giving me a chance to be part of the discussion. Everyone's projects are amazing. Here at Woodmont, you'll see here in the chart that we participated in SEL coaching. There's kind of, as Liz mentioned, there's kind of two pieces to that. We wanted to the impetus behind our project here at Woodmont was we were in constant discussions about how to embed SEL more into actual classroom lessons and lesson plans and classroom curriculum. As much as we and so many of our schools try to embed SEL, adding it into every subject area can be a challenge. As all of you know, your teachers have certain benchmarks they're trying to reach, certain units they have to complete, pacing guides, things of that nature. And we were wondering, how can we just get students more SEL classroom lessons? And our proposal was that we wanted to start with our special areas, meaning art, music, and media were the three that we chose. And what we did was we applied for a grant in which we actually had a teacher consultant, meaning someone who was a teacher and now does SEL coaching, come in and meet with our team of specialists and myself, actually helped us create lessons focused on SEL. And then we carry those out in the classroom. We met monthly for planning, and then also those sessions turned into debriefing sessions as we were actually in the classrooms teaching. I co-taught on the first lessons, and then the specialist teachers themselves took over from there, and the work they did was amazing. So I believe, do we have slides of some of what students created? I think
we do. We have this slide.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, that's actually from our art teacher. I'll talk a little bit about this lesson. And I am happy to say that it's funny. Her timing is perfect. She's doing this lesson right now, and she caught me in the hallway a couple days ago and said, we just did our student values inventory. The masks are starting next week. What this project was we, within our consulting group as a teaching team, we did a values inventory, meaning that literally there's a list of probably 100 to 150 different values. We were asked to do this activity ourselves first, circle our top 10 most important values to us. Then we had to reduce that to 5 and then to 3. And our art teacher decided, I'm going to try to take our students through this same inventory. And she went so far as to take it down to the kindergarten level with a modified version. But these are what we called feelings masks created by a 5th grade class. And the students completed the inventory, and then their task, their assignment was to create a paper mache mask that represents their values and also communicates the parts of themselves, the sides of themselves that they think others don't always see. And this was actually, when you think about an art project, you might think it's 1 week. This was essentially a 4-week unit for our art teacher. The values inventory took 1 week. Some students took 2 separate sessions on that. And then the creation of the work, and then the reflection on the work, the discussion and sharing of their masks. So this was close to a month's work for these art students. And yeah, you can see, and literally every mask turned out differently. As I recall, the mask on the right was from a student who wanted to this was actually a response to the project. He said he sometimes went through his days before the values inventory kind of in a sleepwalk, eyes closed, kind of in automatic mode on some school days. And then he said this project kind of opened him up to feelings and to things that he wanted to do. So the fact that the left eye is closed and the right eye is open represents that for him. And the student on the left was a girl who presents herself as very positive, but also wanted her classmates to know that she sometimes has worries, concerns, fears, anxieties. So the gold part in the middle is the part that everybody usually sees. And she really is like a burst of energy in every room that she comes into. And then the gray and the black around the sides are the parts she wanted to let people get to know, but they were just kind of surfacing from the sides. So the level of reflection on this project was great. Just to give you a brief synopsis of what our media teacher did, she did a lot of SEL based stories and book reflections with all our grade levels. And then our music teacher took things in a wonderful direction too. She decided to have our students study the use of music to convey emotion, both in just actual songs and also in movie scores. So she would show scenes from some of the kids' favorite movies, and then they would discuss how different different pieces of music bring up different emotions. And we were really pleased with the reflection. To wrap up my piece on this, happy to report that our district has, and Woodmont in particular, has really continued to expand this SEL work based on the grants funding. Again, thank you so much to SEL4NJ for this funding. This consulting that they provided for us really created everything. And the art teacher and the art teacher and the media teacher have just signed up to get trained in what we call the mental health first aid model. It's not our model. Apparently, it's a national model that's being used, and our district just purchased to train classroom level teachers in recognizing emotional needs and unspoken trauma that students may be experiencing. So we were asked to provide 4 teachers from our building, and immediately the art teacher and the media teacher jumped right on that. And they're also part of our school climate team as well now. So it was really transformative for the teachers that were involved.
That's great. That's what we just love to see is, as things spread, it becomes organic and it becomes just part of what Woodmont's like now, with all these great ideas, and it's embedded all over the place. So, and I couldn't agree more from what Kira kind of shared in the chat, that this is really profound. I mean, just the examples of the songs and the masks and so much of what you shared. So thank you, Doug. I'm glad we had a visual to accompany it, because it does make it really, just blossom. So wonderful. And we have 2 people who are here from Somerset County Vocational Tech. We have Christina and Joanna here to share. So do you want to kind of share what you guys did over in Somerset County?
Sure. So our grant was for a team of people to be able to participate in the Castle Workshop series on school-wide SEL initiatives. And so Christine and I are both teachers in the VOTEC itself, but also we're part of our alternative high school program called TOPS. And we've been using SEL strategies and techniques and all that goes with that for a very long time with our alternative students. And so it's become clearer as time goes on that it's necessary for all students, not just those that are at risk. And we so we started out by, working on how can we bring this to the rest of the school, to the community at large here. And so we started with the workshop and we formulated a team. And as the year has gone on since last spring, we've managed to encourage our staff to understand what the competencies are through the CASEL competencies. We've held professional development workshops, professional learning community meetings, various discussions and events for our staff so that the staff is all on the same page. We're all using the same vocabulary. A big point for us is to remind our staff that they already do this, that this isn't something that's added to their plate, but is what they how they're reaching their students. And that's been a very important thing for us to stress. And so we've hosted a lot of activities for the staff, as I mentioned, and today for SEL Day, we have a host of things that are going on. Christina, would you like to discuss some of the things that we're doing for SEL Day today?
Sure, and I think to Joanna's point, this idea of reminding teachers that they're already doing a lot of these things was really helpful. But using the same language. And in fact, one of the things, so today's SEL Day, as Joanna said, and I think it really speaks to the success of the engagement that so many teachers, it was overwhelming, volunteered to either host events or activities in their own classrooms or to collaborate. And I know it's even encouraged, as Joanna said, we've been doing this for a long time. It's sort of inherently embedded in alternative education. But reaching out of my own comfort zone, we're at a vocational technical school. So I partnered with the meme teacher, for instance. So my students who are alternative academic students, I'm an English teacher, came up with positive affirmations. And then the meme teacher had his students create like tokens. Of course, I don't have one here with me. I do. Like, for instance, this is a spinner ring. Or other like worry stones with those positives with 3D printing. And so, even for myself and talking to, I'm used to talking more to academic teachers or humanities teachers, we found a connection and already are planning on working together, along the way. So I really think it just fostered more collaboration with teachers. And of course that trickles down and gets all the kids and also students from various communities working together. So we're really grateful. Thank you, Joanna, for the acronym. I'll get it wrong. So we're really grateful. We're really grateful for the grant, and it was wonderful working with my team. There's always more to learn, and just working together just really helps reinforce it.
Yeah, we had things going on today, or still do, for things for the staff as well as the students. So we are including the staff with positive affirmations for them, and as well, and an activity where they're completing a story, sort of pass it along to the next person. So whoever walks in the room next can add to stories. Selfie station is kind of a big hit. That's a lot of our photos are posted to the hashtag for SEL Day, as well as our own school hashtag.
We had the peer mentors hand out positive affirmations to every student this morning. We've also had interest mapping done in classes, 5-minute journaling done in classes, project adventure team building activities through the PE department. We had a lot of great things going on today. It's been really a great event going on, and it's still going on. That's why I'm late to the party. Sorry.
No, that's a great reason to be late to the party. Wow, it's so impressive when you think of like all this work is going on in New Jersey schools, and sometimes it's just top secret, and I'm just so grateful for all of you to be here and just to share, because we know you're doing, I mean, this is amazing work, but there's other work that's going on every day at schools all over, and it's just giving it a chance to shine. Just really counts. It's just so inspiring listening to all the stories. So can I just ask, because I'm the I can't see people very easily because I've got my screen. Is there anyone on now from a school who's on the screen who hasn't had a chance to share yet? I know Marissa was going to be arriving late, and Melanie, she wasn't sure. So, okay, that's fine. So what I thought we could do is thank you all for that overview. Maybe you could share sort of if anything unexpected happened in terms of the implementation, because we know that we know that how things hardly ever turn out how we think they're going to turn out. They may turn out great, but it doesn't usually go exactly how we plan. So, were there any kind of unexpected bonuses that came out of this that you were surprised about, or just an obstacle that you're like, wow, that came out of nowhere. How are we going to get over that? So I'll just open it up to those who've shared already to just kind of unmute and just kind of jump in. Yep.
Yes, I'll share from Woodmont. One thing, and it really brought us close together. One thing that was unexpected for us was how much the values inventory that we did together emotionally impacted staff members and our teaching team, the teachers who were participating. And I don't think she'd mind me using her as an example, but our music teacher was really stressed when we started the grant project. She had multiple concerts coming up, and she ended up in tears just because she said, I feel so disconnected from the values that are most important to me right now, just because of the things I have to do. So we decided the best way through this.
How are you? All right.
Yeah, we decided the best way through this was basically we told the teachers involved, basically create your dream lesson based on your values inventory. Whatever it was that made you love teaching, get back to it. And it became really powerful. And there were a lot of emotional connections that happened between us that remain to this day. And that was something, the level of vulnerability it took for us to really do this work right and model it properly for the kids was unexpected. But also the really good growth emotionally that came for us as staff members was also very unexpected too. We thought we were doing this just for students, and we found out that we needed it as much as or more than they did. Yeah.
Wow, that is very profound, isn't it? And what an eye opener for everyone involved. It's like we all know, kind of that first piece is, self-identifying emotions and what you're feeling. And it sounds like that's what happened through the exercise of the values. And then it just opened up all this other things. Wow, really. Thanks for sharing, Doug. And I believe Marissa just arrived as well. So Marissa's probably still just getting herself organized and situated. Oh, there you are. So Marissa, it's great you could jump in. That's wonderful. And people have been going around kind of sharing their experience with their grant project, sort of what it was, what impact it's had, and, kind of how things are going now with it. So if you'd like to just introduce yourself and share that little bit for a couple of minutes, that would be wonderful.
Sure. Thank you for having me. Sorry I'm late. I had no one to cover my lunch duty. So what I did was changing the ADHD brain, moving beyond medication, and how it impacted my school and my work as a school counselor is that it's supporting a lot of cases that are coming in undiagnosed or diagnosed. So students who just need help with regulating. I work in a K-2 school. I've worked in K-5 and K-6 previously, but at this young age, sometimes it's harder just because we have students here that are in kindergarten. They're just learning how to learn and learning social skills and things like that. But when they have these types of behaviors, I now have information to give parents. I have turnkeyed all the information to the other counselors that work in the school district. I was able to get some resources that I also give to parents. So yesterday I actually had a meeting with a parent that came in, and the child was actually diagnosed with ADHD. So I gave her the handouts that I received and some information about how we can help support this child in the classroom, and also help the teacher. She's only a second year teacher, so giving her information is really helpful as well. So it was overall a great experience and a great workshop to attend, and something that I'll have now in my back pocket for the, a long time to come. So thank you.
Oh, that's great. I don't know what's happening here. Oh, that's great. And as you can see, this again was, a different type of project. So every one of the projects, from that original 15 were really different and very unique for the specific needs of the school. And I think that's something that we certainly embrace, is that we know that every school community is different and has different needs and has different places on the continuum, and could be different continuums.
And I just wanted to add one more thing in how it relates to SEL and mental health, because I teach yoga and mindfulness to kids. So I'm a certified yoga teacher, and it's helpful to have this information also and I teach SEL lessons. That's 80% of my job responsibilities here. So I go into the classroom, so it helps me to help these students as I'm teaching. So really it did help with the SEL aspect and the mental health aspect as well, because I think it all, it's all kind of works together.
Yeah, and that's so true. And it's very interesting is that through the School Culture and Climate Initiative that Dr. Heindel and I are very involved with, is that we always talk about, the importance of, kind of approaches being coordinated and collaborative and consistent. And just all of your projects that you've been talking about do that, is that they, that they're elevating voices, they're making things visible, they're involving more than just one person or just one approach. And so, we'd just like to say thank you again, and just, kind of share that, we're also proud of you and all of the work all of you have done. And we very much look forward to keeping in touch. We are going to, kind of rejuvenate our cohort. And then, we hope going forward that at some point we hope to be offering this sort of opportunity again for new schools, and to continue to connect all of you together to learn from one another. So just want to thank you all for sharing, all super inspirational. And I think we have, a couple of minutes left. If anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or any comments. And then, so I'll just continue to blah, blah until if somebody has a question, just kind of, I, again, can't see everyone. Actually, I'm going to unshare my screen right now for the moment. Right. So for the rest of the afternoon as well, what we're doing is there's going to be 3 additional workshops coming up, new arts, and Doug, you'll love this, is that it's about SEL and the arts. It's going to be wonderful. We have another, that's our friends from NJA SECD are going to be talking about the 11 principles of character and SECD. And then the School Culture and Climate Initiative is going to be talking about the importance of a framework. And our lovely colleague, mentor, friend, and guru, Dr. Maurice Elias, he'll be offering a session as well later this afternoon about, and it builds so much on what a couple of you have shared, that SEL isn't something that you do additionally, it's something that's integrated into everything. So he'll be sharing that later this afternoon. So we hope you'll be able to join us for the rest of the afternoon, and or being pop in and out as schedules sort of allow. So with that said, I think I'm wishing everyone a great SEL day. I'm going to go in this 15-minute break and check the tweets. This is sort of command central at the moment. We've got all sorts of people out sharing all of your tweets and all the great stuff that you're doing. So really, really appreciate it. Thank you all for taking the time, and hope to see you in about 15 minutes.
Bye, everyone. Thank you.